Hey everyone, it's Ryan here with my reactions to NXT Takeover Stand and Deliver. Both nights happened on Wednesday and Thursday. I was going to do a video last night, but after work and I sort of just wanted to relax, so I thought I'd do it now, and then also I can do the WrestleMania predictions video. So we'll start off with night one, the pre-show match. I've got my phone with the details here, which is why I keep looking over. So the pre-show matches were pretty much just announced on the night, which is why we didn't do predictions of all of them. We had Zoe Stark versus Toni Storm, with Zoe Stark getting the win after 10 minutes. It was a pretty solid match, good showing for Zoe Stark. It seems weird considering, about 4 or 5 months ago they made this big deal of Toni Storm returning to NXT, and now she's just on a pre-show with nothing to do. Onto the main card, Pete Dunne versus Kushida in a singles match, the story being which one's the best technical wrestler. Pete Dunne challenged Kushida. Pete Dunne ends up with the win, most of the time attacking the hand. The end comes when Kushida punches Pete Dunne, but due to all the pain in his hand it makes him hesitate. Pete Dunne takes advantage of that, hits the bitter end to win. I did have Pete Dunne to win, so that's already one for me. The 6-man gauntlet eliminator match, it was kind of a bit odd because they called it a gauntlet match, so we're kind of thinking it was more like a traditional one, where there'll be 2 people in the ring, then whoever gets eliminated from that, then the next person comes in, but they did it sort of like Rumble style, where every 3 minutes a new competitor come in, and then they did the eliminator that way. But I think gauntlet eliminator is the best way to describe it, rather than just say it's a gauntlet match. So this one, Bronson Reed ended up winning against Isaiah Swerve Scott, Cameron Grimes, LA Knight, Dexter Lumis, and Leon Ruff. I originally had Dexter Lumis because for this match the winner gets an opportunity at the North American Championship against Johnny Gargano the following night, and the story for the past couple of months has been Dexter Lumis basically impeding in the way, kidnapping Dexter Lumis. Indy Hartwell now apparently has a thing for Dexter Lumis, so that's where I thought the story was going, but I kind of forgot halfway through that there was a brief thing with Bronson Reed, so it kind of made sense that he won. Yeah, it was a very solid match, very good match. LA Knight not doing too much. He was the last one in, kind of said a few things on the microphone, then got attacked. He got the surprise roll up on Dexter Lumis, but then he immediately got eliminated afterwards. Yeah, Dexter Lumis was the second one out, which was a surprise to me. I thought he would have been third at least. Swerve Scott having a really good match in this. Cameron Grimes using his money gimmick pretty well, pretty much giving money to Swerve Scott, so they had a temporary alignment. The next match, Walter versus Tommaso Ciampa for the NXT United Kingdom Championship. Again, with a Walter match, a very, very hard-hitting match. I think Ciampa in this goes back to his trunks and stuff, so like he did 2 years ago, during his big NXT run. I think he shaved his hair off as well, so he doesn't look 50 anymore. He kind of looks a bit more normal. Like, he's still got the beard, but he just looks so old when he had like the bit of hair on the back. But yeah, like, this was a very hard hitting match. There's a bit where for a good 2 or 3 minutes, Ciampa's just running off each rope, like clotheslining Walter, and he just still won't go down. A lot of chops back and forth. Walter ends up winning with a chop, which for me it was sort of a bit odd considering he's already chopped him like 30 times in the match. Like, I can get the whole he's taken so much punishment, and the way Walter's chops are, it just took it out of him. Like, I feel like there should have been something special about the chop. Like, maybe it could have been sold a bit better, because it kind of just felt like a normal chop when he did it. Or like, sort of, I watched back Walter versus Tyler Bate, and he wins with literally a really heavy lariat. Like, he could have done that. But again, a very good hard hitting match between the two of them. So I'm not complaining too much. MSK, Wesley and Nash Carter versus the Grizzled Young Veterans, James Drake and Zach Gibson versus Legado del Fantasma, Raul Mendoza, Joaquin Wilde, in a triple threat tag team match for the NXT Tag Team Championships. They're currently vacated because Danny Burch has an injury. I did have Grizzled Young Veterans to win this one, just because I thought they fell short so many times that I feel like they should have deserved something at least. But this for me was probably match of the night. Like, Volta was a close second, I think. Pretty much every match on this card was really, really good. There was only one match which felt particularly weak, which was on night 2, which I'll get to. But yeah, MSK ended up getting the win here. So what a good first year they're having. It's I don't think it's even been 6 months. They debut in the Dusty Classic and they win that, and now a few months later they go and win the tag team titles. So very good run for them. I probably should have seen it coming, considering the storyline was. I think they were doing something for their dad or something like that. I can't remember. I remember there was some tribute thing that they did in the post match interview. But yeah, nice to see MSK win. They're very talented, and I'm sure they can have a really good run with the titles. Sorry about this. Another one woke up and it's just not a day. The main event: Raquel Gonzalez versus Io Shirai. I almost said Dakota Kai because this is with Dakota Kai. Raquel Gonzalez versus Io Shirai for the NXT Women's Championship. So the story to this one is... I did have Grizzled Young... Oh, I already said I had Grizzled Young Veterans. I'm kind of losing track of myself. The story to this one is Io Shirai's beaten almost everyone on the roster. She goes straight to Raquel Gonzalez and says, I haven't fought you. You've pinned me in the War Games, so we're going to have a match. And Raquel's on, yeah, okay. The whole build-up has been Raquel saying that Io's definitely not ready for Raquel. She thinks she wants this challenge, but she can't. They had these, pre-show interviews with them, and Raquel came across as a babyface. I feel like that's where they're going now. Io Shirai saying she chose Raquel because she grew up idolising people like Rey Mysterio, and Rey Mysterio was always a little man in a big man's world, so his challenges would always be bigger than him, yet he would overcome them, and she wanted to do that. Very solid match between the pair of them. Obviously, both of them trying to go for their finishes. The big spot is Io Shirai stands on the skull for the entrance. I love this set design for this. The giant skull, the swords, and everything like that. She jumps off the skull at the top of the stage to crossbody Raquel. Eventually, Raquel hits the one-armed powerbomb to win the NXT Women's Championship. I did have Raquel for this one. I feel like Io Shirai's had a very long reign. It's been 300 days, I think. But yeah, so I would have called her the big bad boss that they'd like to have, but with the way that Raquel has been since this takeover, it's leaning towards more babyface. I have a feeling the story is going to be Dakota Kai is going to get angry the fact that Raquel's champion, not her, so that will lead to a feud between them. But yeah, like I said, very solid match. Night one was very solid. We'll move on to night two. The pre-show match, Killian Dane and Drake Maverick versus Breezango. Tyler Breeze and Fandango, that is. The winner receives a future NXT Tag Team Championship match, which is actually quite nice because then it actually feels like some of these matches are actually worth something rather than just being there. It ends up Killian Dane and Drake Maverick end up winning after Drake Maverick puts a pirate hat, because Breezango come out as pirates. Drake Maverick puts a pirate hat on Killian Dane. He gets angry at him, power bombs him onto Tyler Breeze in the middle of the ring, and then pins him. And then Killian Dane, as sort of apology, puts the hat on Drake. So yeah, it'll be interesting to see when they get that title match. But I look forward to it. Santos Escobar versus Jordan Devlin in a ladder match to determine the undisputed NXT Cruiserweight Champion. So again, the story to this one is when COVID happened, Jordan Devlin, who's the Cruiserweight Champion, was in the UK, so he couldn't travel over to the US. So they made an interim one, which Santos Escobar ended up winning. He's been on a very dominant run ever since then. Devlin's returned to NXT US, and now they've made this match. Shawn Michaels comes out on NXT, puts a ladder in the ring, says, "Here, this is what we did last time we sorted out a undisputed champion." Call back to Razor Ramon and Shawn Michaels. The nice thing about the match was there wasn't if there was maybe one or two, but there wasn't constant callbacks to this was like Shawn Michaels and Razor Ramon, because if it was on the main roster you'd get that 6 times at least. But yeah, this was a very brutal match between the pair of them. A lot of good ladder spots. It didn't feel like it didn't feel like there was contrived ladder spots where they take them 2 minutes. Right, I'm gonna set this ladder here, and I'm gonna set this one like this, and then I'm just gonna get in there, and then have to lean it up, and then bang. It was literally everything was placed sort of conveniently, so it didn't feel like they was setting something up and then trying to hit it. It was like they would like there was a ladder in the corner that was the ending spot, but that was just put there because they had 2 ladders up and basically one of them wanted to take one down, so he literally just puts it there. It wasn't like a setting up type thing, if you know what I mean. But yeah, the end comes when they're both on the ladder and Escobar pushes Devlin through the ladder in the corner and then he grabs the titles. I did have Escobar to win this one. I feel like they can send Jordan Devlin back to UK afterwards, and like I know it was like a while back and I think he might have been cleared, but again you want to be a bit extra careful with stuff like this. But Jordan Devlin sort of was like not the originator, but he was sort of like the first case of the speaking out campaign in 2020. So yeah, I think they kind of wanted to take the title off him. But having said that, on the main roster, Riddle's got the US title and he's still in a bit of, like I said, NXT main roster, very different. But yeah, again, this was a very solid match between the pair of them. Santos Escobar can carry on doing what he does in the US. Devlin can probably go back to the UK. Ember Moon versus Ember Moon and Shotzi Blackheart defending the NXT Women's Tag Team Championships against The Way, being Candice LeRae and Indy Hartwell. I did have Ember and Shotzi to win it because they had just recently won it like a couple of weeks ago, and I think I already questioned the fact that they made new champions and then immediately switched hands to someone else. If they switched hands again, I think like any attempt to get in value for these titles would have been gone. This one felt like the easiest prediction for me. This one for me was probably like the weakest match of the 2 nights, but only just because it was a bit sloppy. Especially Shotzi doing a suicide dive and she just misses everyone, and just the way she bends, she sort of almost gives you flashbacks to Lita in 2006 when she broke her neck. Or it might have been 2005, around that time. But luckily, like, it wasn't too bad. She sort of had the barricade to stop her, and like Candice and Indy were nearby. There was like a double lunar eclipse, which didn't look great because basically Indy was stood behind LeRae when it happened, so she would have had to go down with her and yeah, it just didn't look great. But yeah, Ember and Shotzi pick up the win, kind of expected. And then we had Johnny Gargano defending the NXT North American Championship against Bronson Reed. Austin Theory being in his corner. Bronson Reed again having a really good showing in this one. The story being Johnny Gargano's going straight for the ribs. Eventually that does come back to haunt Bronson Reed because he goes for a moonsault, he misses, takes 2 slingshot DDTs to basically lose. So Johnny Gargano retains the NXT North American Championship. Like I said, I did originally have the winner of the gauntlet match to win this. Like I thought it would have been Dexter Lumis. But then when it was Bronson Reed, we did have the option to change it, but I thought with it being Bronson, then like Gargano doesn't really need the title, but I can see why they've given it to him because he's part of the evil stable, sort of like they're doing with Escobar. But yeah, again, a very good match between the two of them. Definitely showing off Bronson Reed's ability. Next, Karrion Kross versus Finn Balor for the NXT Championship. Karrion Kross being undefeated, and he only gave up his title because of an injury. Finn Balor is 14-1 in NXT matches, or like takeover matches, I think. But yeah, again, very solid match between these two. Pretty much a test of will between the both of them, who can hit hardest, who can withstand the most. Eventually, Karrion Kross does he hits a lot of shots to the back of Finn's head, and eventually, I think he does like a running elbow to the back of the head or something to knock Finn out and pin him for the win. So Karrion Kross is once again NXT champion, going back on his undefeated run. I did predict Karrion Kross to win because I felt like they would try and go back to the way they were. With Karrion Kross being undefeated, I think it wouldn't have felt special, because if Finn won, then who would face Finn next? You know, like we've already had Kyle O'Reilly twice. It might have been Adam Cole, but I feel like we've had Adam Cole versus Finn Balor already. Maybe Pete Dunne, but again, that might be a few months' time. But again, I went for Karrion Kross because for my next one, like the next match and the main event is what I pretty much kind of think what the story's going to go to. And the main event, Kyle O'Reilly versus Adam Cole in an unsanctioned match. So, first off, the theme music for both of them is crap. Like, Adam Cole, I don't mind, it's a slight remix on Undisputed Era. Why not just let him keep it? Because it was originally his music before the rest joined him. Plus, like him trying to do the boom thing, like I get that it's his first time, but it's just so mistimed and it just doesn't sound good. And yeah, Kyle O'Reilly's just got generic rock music. It's very similar to Daniel Bryan in 2010, like that music they had. It's not this. It's not the music you listen and go. That's Kyle O'Reilly. Ah. It's like, who's that? Oh, it's Kyle O'Reilly. Yeah, it's not like, it's a first attempt. Like maybe in a couple of weeks they can sort of switch it up a bit. But yeah, the music wasn't great. But yeah, this one again, very very hard hitting. A lot of weapons in there, a lot of chairs, which for some reason had the Undisputed Era logo on them. There was a chain involved that came into play a few times. Big spot is they're on the stage. Kyle O'Reilly's got the guillotine choke on Adam Cole, and Adam Cole just basically power bombs him or spinebusters him through the stage. Drags him back in. A lot of resilience between the pair of them. The finishing move is there's lots of callbacks as well. So like there's Adam Cole does the low blow like in a Roderick Strong. The ending is Adam Cole climbs the turnbuckle with Kyle O'Reilly on there. He then low blows Adam Cole, gets him in the ring on some chair, like on a chair which is stood upside down with the prongs up like that. Adam Cole's landing across them. Kyle O'Reilly wraps the chain around his knee, and then just a dropping knee on Adam Cole's head onto the chair. Adam Cole is basically just flailing, like convulsing. Kyle O'Reilly ends up with the win. Very, very brutal. They're taking Adam Cole off in a stretcher. But yeah, again, like the ending shot, Kyle O'Reilly with the victory. But with that music, just does not sound good. But again, a very, very brutal match between the pair of them. A very great match. I'd say for night 2, match of the night for me was probably the Cruiserweight match that opened up. That was a very exciting match. Karrion Kross versus Finn Balor was very interesting. We thought it would be a squash match, but it wasn't. But yeah, I did have Kyle O'Reilly to win that one because I feel like it sets up Kyle O'Reilly versus Karrion Kross. Like, you could have done Kyle versus Finn again, like Kyle being, right, I'm ready now, I've got no distractions, and blah 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 and all that stuff. But yeah, like I said, 2 very good nights for TakeOver. It's definitely put WrestleMania on notice because, again, when TakeOver's near WrestleMania or SummerSlam or something like that, then the main roster pay-per-view has a lot to live up for, and sometimes it does dampen the audience reaction to it. But the only thing I'm going to say to people is, don't immediately compare WrestleMania to TakeOver. Like, I get that it's the same company, but they're 2 very different produced things. NXT is more of the dark, underground, hard-hitting matches, whereas WWE, like main roster, is more entertainment and story. Like, there's some storytelling, but it's not great, but it's more the entertainment factor. Very traditional, you've got your storylines and all that stuff. So yeah, don't immediately compare it to TakeOver because it's not going to be the same thing, and you just basically think, oh, it's going to be this, and then you think it's not that good when it could actually be a very solid show. But that's my reactions to NXT Takeover Stand and Deliver nights 1 and 2. Thank you very much for watching this video, and I shall hopefully see you in the next one.